She had it all: movies, magazine covers, and a rising solo career. She was the new starlet and the talk of the town. Beyonce did what only a few can do, not only being a frontwoman of a successful girl group, but to carve a lane for herself to fulfill her own destiny. But Beyonce didn't get there on her own. Despite the help of her loving parents, Beyonce comes from a girl group that had a dream. A dream that started in the hair salon and grew to become a top charting, hit-making girl group called Destiny's Child. But that dream almost never made it off the ground. Back in the early 2000s, Destiny's Child dealt with some legal troubles and a nasty split, where in the end they had to say goodbye to two founding members of the group. But before the dynamic trio became the new face of Destiny's Child, they then again made another organization, leaving one more member behind. The Powerpuff Girls were complete and was taking no prisoners with a third studio album, Survivor. But during their reign, the girls decided to split to focus on personal endeavors. Beyonce went on to create her own career, which at that time was reported to be worth $20 million. But the destiny was still not complete. There was a promise that needed to be kept, not solely for the fans, but for the friendship that the girls built throughout the years. Hit me! Hello, welcome back, bitches. My name is Cayman, and this is My Beyonce Experience. In 2001, the independent bootylicious survivors were dominating the charts, radios, and your kids' ears. But while making their third studio album, DC decided to split. Michelle went on to star on Broadway and recorded 2 gospel albums. Kelly won a Grammy and starred in movies like Freddy vs. Jason. And Beyonce, well, we know. Even though they were all headed in their own direction, they needed to come back to close a chapter that they started when they were 9 years old, to finally complete that hair salon dream to become one of the greatest girl groups of all time. Destiny's Child released their third studio album, Destiny Fulfilled. Like Dangerously in Love, Destiny Fulfilled guides the listener through a poetic and sultry journey of self-love. In all the interviews that I watched, it was stated multiple times that the reason why the girls wanted to break was to grow as women and to grow vocally. Through this album, I think that was achieved. They provided songs that showed a new side of their vulnerability and a new level of strength, like Cater to You and Through With Love. This time, this album balances the girls' personalities a lot better than the rest. Yes, Beyonce was still Beyonce, and honestly, you just can't help that. But Kelly had her moments too, like taking leads in songs like Bad Habit. Also, Michelle started off taking leads too, and she also had her gospel thumbprint all throughout the album. Also, there's something that brings me back to their first studio album, Destiny Self-Titled. Something about Destiny Fulfilled feels like Destiny Self-Titled's bigger sister. It feels like throughout the years, they learned from their first album and possibly the others and put those lessons into Destiny Fulfilled. It had those neo-soul moments like the jazz, the gospel, the stories of love like Destiny Self-Titled. But Destiny Fulfilled felt mature in the right way and at the right time. It felt like these women found who they were and have a better sense of self. They found their own voice and made songs that reflect that journey. It truly does feel like a complete 360 from their first studio album. If this was going to be the last album, then what a great partying gift. It truly does feel like their dreams have come true, and a big thank you to all their fans. The destiny has now been fulfilled. All right, now it is story time. First of all, if you're new here, hello, my name is Cayman. I am doing a series called My Beyonce Experience, where I take every one of Beyonce's album and I talk about it. I talk about the music, the creation, what was Beyonce going through at that time, and then I intersect like a personal story about my life, because Beyonce has been in my life since I was 5, and every album is like a timestamp of my life, and sometimes there's stories that correspond with the album and sometimes it don't. But for this album, there is a specific story that corresponds with this album, Destiny Fulfilled. Also, if you if you can tell, I have really bad allergies and I am also sick. So I'm getting double fucked. Usually I don't mind getting double fucked, but this time I didn't ask for this and they didn't come to me with consent. So Yeah, I'm not excited for this double penetration. So if I sound a little weird, that is because I am getting doubly penetrated by my allergies and I am sick. All right, now let's get to the story. Okay, so let's set the scene. Thanksgiving is over and Christmas is right around the corner. And this is usually the time, at least in my life, and maybe other people out there, you guys can like comment below. But this is the time where parents will start to ask you, what do you want for Christmas and what do you want from Santa? Now, I am 10 years old because this specific story goes with this album. If you watch my other videos, you know I used to play dress up all the time. I used to have blankets around my waist and I used to strut around the hallways wearing my sister heels. I'm not doing that as much at this age. At this point in my life, I am now hanging out with the kids on the block and we're riding bicycles, we're wrestling, we're playing games, we're playing basketball, getting into Teen Titans, DC. I'm getting out of the sissy prancing phase and getting more into the boy, boy, be a man phase, if you know what I mean. However, when I did play video games, I still picked the female characters. So honestly, don't count my queerness out. Each year, my extended family will host like a Christmas gathering. I love those Christmas gatherings. It was filled with lots of cousins, lots of uncles, lots of aunts. The adults are slamming dominoes and calling each other out, playing spades. You hear Motown playing in the background. You had all types of food spread out everywhere. You had different types of pies and pound cakes and fried chicken, collard greens, and mashed potatoes. And it was just really, truly just like, it just felt like the holiday spirit. All the kids will play downstairs and eat downstairs. My generation of cousins were primarily boys. So we wrestled, we played football games. We used to play a game called Spear the Queer. I know, listen, I have a gay neighbor, so I can say queer. We used to play a game called Spear the Queer, and I used to always win those games because I was fat. All of my cousins were so skinny, and even though they were wrestling and playing basketball and playing football, something about my fat ass, I always beat those bitches. And those skinny bitches had to be destroyed, and my fat ass was going to be the one that was going to do it, okay? So I felt prideful in those games because it was like the one only time that I felt like I can use my dominance and beat these bitches. Also, another thing about these Christmases is that you always walked away with mad money. Now, you never walked away with actual cold hard cash. They will always do gift cards like Visa gift cards, Target gift cards, and you're walking away with at least 5 to 10 different gift cards. There was also a cousin who was Jehovah's Witness, and he couldn't take those gift cards. So you always kind of just followed him around until he like placed his gift cards, and you just kind of like sneak it and like put it in your bra and walk away. Because he wasn't going to take them home, and like, I'm not going to leave them there for the other kids, so yeah. Okay, so a few weeks ago, like I said, during that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, my dad asked me to write down what I wanted for Christmas. Now, that was a little weird because I don't know if this is like a black family's thing or a like, we don't got that type of money for you to make a list type of thing. But seldomly did my parents ever ask me to write a list. How it goes is like my dad will remember as many gifts as his mind will remember at that time, and then when he's at the store he'll be like, now what did my son say? And if the gift is like too expensive and I'm like, oh well, you know, like I want a car or like I want an iPad Nano, it would just go in one ear and out the other. So for him to ask me to write down a list, I was like, okay, we're really getting to the holiday spirit. Like we're really actually being a family and like doing what families do. And I was like, all right, work. I wasted no time, darling. I wasted no time. I snatched that fucking pen out of his crusty ass hands and I began to write down my list before I forgot what I wanted and before he changed his fucking mind. I put down like Batman action figures, Bionicles, DDR for my PlayStation 2, a robot dog, the iPod Nano, and so much other shit. But on the last entry on that list, the last item I put on before I signed, sealed, delivered, licked the envelope to send to goddamn Santa Claus, was a CD that came out not too long ago, maybe a couple weeks back. This particular CD was a CD that reunited one of the best-selling girl groups of all time. This CD was Destiny's Child, Destiny Fulfilled. So my dad takes the Christmas gift and he starts to read it out loud, fixes his glasses, and it's like, okay, Batman. Okay, cool. He really liked that entry. I don't think he thought I was going to write down Batman because I know he sees me prancing along and downstairs, so he probably thought his gay little son was going to ask for a Barbie again. So this time he asked for a Batman action figure, and I think that warmed my dad's heart. He laughed at the idea of having a robot dog, rolled his eyes at the iPod Nano, questioned why I wanted more Bionicles. Why do parents do that? Why do parents ask you what you want for Christmas and then question it? Like, what did you expect me to ask for? God's love and grace and mercy? Like, no, bitch, I want what I want. He gets to the last item and he adjusts his glasses and he adjusts the paper as if he wasn't already seeing the items on the paper perfectly fine before, but somehow with this fucking item, he had to make sure that he's seeing it correctly. Destiny Child. You listen to that? I felt like he saw right fucking through me, bitch. He said it in such a way that had like so much shade in it at the same time. He said it with this question undertone as if he already didn't know the answer. He said it in a way that he wanted to insert his 2 cents. Then he's like, oh yeah, I see you and your sister like listen to those music videos. I wish I can just like put you in that moment and just hearing your parent just say those words in a way where you feel like it's not like they're mocking you or undermining you, but they're definitely making a feeling that this is weird. You know what I mean? Like my son wanting women's music is weird, I guess. You know, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but those are the feelings that I was feeling at that time. If Inside Out had a feeling where you just felt like you were just getting deeper and deeper and deeper inside yourself, like that's how I felt. Like I thought I was perfectly fine putting that item on the list, but with his question and his tones, it made me feel like maybe I should not have put those items on that list, or at least that particular item on that list. So anyway, after my dad read the list, he pinned the list on the refrigerator and I thought nothing of it. Christmas comes around and I'm racing to the Christmas tree, and my family doesn't really have any order to Christmas. You just get your Christmas gifts and you can open them at any time that you want. You know, we will wait for everyone to be up and ready, but once everyone's up and ready, you grab your Christmas gifts and you can open it. You know, I opened and I got, $20, I got puzzles, I got that robot dog, which was so weird. And then I got a Batman action figure, but I didn't get a CD. And you know that SpongeBob meme where it's like, where's my kelp drink?
Your Krabby Patty pizza is here!
Wow, thanks. I've been dying for one of these. Where's my drink?
What drink?
My drink? My Diet Dr. Kelp? Don't tell me you forgot my drink!
But you didn't order any.
How am I supposed to eat this pizza without my drink?
That's why I was like, bitch, where's my kelp drink? What's the point of making a list if you're not going to really get the gifts that you want? Yes. Did I ask for the Batman action figure and the robot dog and got that? Yes, but bitch, I really wanted that goddamn fucking CD. After a disappointing gift exchange, it was time to go to the extended family's Christmas. And I was super excited. I get to eat again. I get to open more gifts and get those Visa gift cards. I get to beat my skinny ass cousins into wrestling games. But this year we did something different. As a family, we decided to play Secret Santa. Now at this time, I didn't know anything about Secret Santa. Who drew my name? What did they get me? How did they know what I wanted? What if I didn't like what they got me? Do I have to pretend that I like it and be polite? Like there were just so many questions that I had. So all the adults and all the kids gathered in the living room to start playing the game Secret Santa. And one by one, each person opened their gift. Jimmy got soccer cleats for his upcoming soccer season and a soccer ball. Brian got cologne and ties and like dress shirts for when he goes to church. Danielle got beauty makeup and mirrors and all this stuff. Everyone was receiving these big gifts, and I just had this like flat square in my hand that was wrapped with like ugly brown wrapping paper. And I was just like, guess this is what I get. All of a sudden I hear my name called, and it's one of the adults saying it's my time to open my gift. And I look around and everyone's staring at me, and I peel back the stupid ugly brown wrapping paper, and lo and behold, guess what I got for Christmas? I got the Destiny's Child, Destiny's Fulfilled album. Now you might think, wow, you must have been super excited to open up your gift in front of all your boy cousins who got all of these boys things, and you got the Destiny's Child's Fulfilled album. You must have been so excited. I was not. I felt so embarrassed for that reason, because I felt like of all the gifts that I put on that Christmas list, this is the one that I get to open in front of the family. I don't know. I felt embarrassed and I felt ashamed to be opening that, because when I looked around on my boy cousins, they got things that I deemed as boy things. But I got something that felt more like I wish I would have received this at home. Before I could say anything, one of my cousins rips it out of my hands and said, "What is this?" and started passing around the other boy cousins like a fucking cheap stripper at a bachelor party. Another cousin said, "Is that the new Destiny's Child CD?" Another person said, "I didn't know you listened to that." And I was like, God damn, does everyone not listen to Beyonce, or is it just fucking me? And then one other cousin said, "Why didn't you ask for the Kanye CD or the Eminem CD?" You know, I don't know if this is like just homophobia in the black community or if anyone else like relates to this, but like I felt like at that time, like boys listening to R&B was completely frowned upon. Like it felt like it was okay to listen to like your parents' R&B, like Anita Baker or like Yolanda Adams or Janet or Whitney. But something like I guess you couldn't listen to Destiny's Child or Danny Kane without being deemed a faggot or a query boy. Once again, at that moment, I felt like I was drawing with more and more and more into myself. I felt so embarrassed and I felt so betrayed. And I remember looking at my dad and just like felt hurt. Yes, I wanted the Destiny's Child CD, but I wanted it in the privacy of my own home. Seeing all of my boy cousins getting cologne and ties and soccer cleats and sports gear, and I get a Destiny's Child CD, it made me feel different in that moment. And it wasn't a feeling that I wanted to feel during Christmas. I just felt like all eyes were on me, and it just didn't feel like a good feeling. I remember going up to my dad and asking him like, who gave me this gift? And he said, my cousin Royanne. And I said, why didn't you tell her that I wanted something else? Like I asked for Batman and puzzles and all this stuff. You know, at that time, parents are not going to sit there and have a conversation about why they made their decisions with their kids. So that conversation didn't last very long. So everyone started opening their gifts and started putting batteries in their toys, and Nerf darts were flying around, but not me. I didn't want anything to do with that CD. I didn't even want to listen to the album. I felt like everyone knew who I was, like a little sensitive kid that likes to listen to Destiny's Child, and I didn't want anything to do with that. So the party is winding down, and it's time for us to leave. So me and my dad are gathering our gifts, and before we head out, my dad asked me, do you have everything? I said, yes. He said, are you sure? Do you have all your gifts? I said, yes, I have all my gifts. Knowing good and damn well I'm lying to him because I'm leaving behind the Destiny's Child CD. And so I was sitting in the car, counting all of my Visa gift cards and how much Tamagotchis I can get, how many Bionicles I can get, when's the next time I'm going to get to Target so I can spend this money. And my dad asked me, son, do you mind if we listen to some music? And I said, of course. So as he reaches back, he pulls out the fucking CD, the Destiny's Child CD. Bitch, my fucking heart sunk. Not because I feel like my dad is trying to have a moment, because I lied to him. I told him that I got everything and I did it, and now he just showed me that I lied and he has my CD in my hand. And if you've been following this series, you know that I like to lie. And sometimes I get away with it and sometimes I don't. Listen, I like to lie. I don't mean I don't like to lie. I just like to tell stories. You know what I mean? I like to give people like a pump in their little step. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that one story where I said my mom died. I didn't think my parents weren't going to go to work and think that they're going to get a call from the school that their kid made up a lie that their mom died. But hey, it did add some spice to their boring ass 9 to 5 lives. So you're welcome. As he pulls it out, he says, I think you left this behind, and I was wondering if we can listen to it together if you don't mind. When he said that, how I said I wish there was an inside out feeling of just going within yourself. Now I wish there was an inside out feeling of the reverse opposite action of that. When he said, I want to listen to this album with you, I hope you don't mind. I don't want to say I felt seen because that feels super dramatic, but I think my dad just didn't anticipate the reaction that the boy cousins were going to give me when they saw this CD. I didn't think my dad anticipated that I was going to feel like an outcast and that I was going to be ashamed of this CD. I don't think my dad thought that, damn, maybe I should have just tell the cousin to get him that Batman action figure so he can feel more blended with his boy cousins. I didn't think my dad knew I really wanted that CD, and for him to see me not open it or play with it or have the same joy I had when I was writing it down on a Christmas list, I think that spoke to him in a way. And I think as any father, seeing your kid just lose their light might not be a great pill to swallow. I think it was his way of saying, I got you, I hear you, I feel you. If you feel embarrassed to listen to this album, I'm going to listen to it with you. I'm going to take the long way too, so we can listen to it from front to back. It was, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. It just felt like, because we didn't say anything, and we didn't have to say anything. Him pulling that CD out, asking me if I want to listen to it, me pushing play and hear it hit me from Lose My Breath, and just having a drive home listening to that album was all I needed. It was all I needed. So that is my Christmas story. That is my my Destiny's Child, Destiny Fulfilled story. And yeah. All right, let's talk about some of my thoughts of this album. I love it. I love it. Now, it's so interesting because in the very beginning when I was a kid, I used to love the first 4 songs. First of all, when Lose My Breath music video came out, yes, you best believe I was doing that little hit movement that they were doing. When Soldier came out, yes, I need a soldier that's carrying big things, if you know what I mean. Like I was singing, cater to you, let me cater to you, boy. T-shirt, I would get my dad's big t-shirt and then think that well, first of all, let me be clear, not my dad. But I will imagine like I have a man and I'm rolling around in this t-shirt and he had cologne on that he hasn't, and he's in the military fighting for us. Like when I was a kid, those first 4 songs, I just like had a fucking grip on me. I just knew re-listening to this as an adult that the first 4 songs I loved as a kid, but I don't have any memories of the last 4 songs. Now it's a complete 180. I still love the first 4 songs, but something about Free, If, Through With Love, and Love, they just feel so peaceful. They feel like something that I want to smoke a joint to on my balcony, something that I want to smoke a joint to and just take in Mother Nature, take in the clouds, take in the sun, take in the birds chirping, and just be very grateful. I think the last 4 songs are about self-love and finding love through yourself. And I think as an adult right now, that is something that I'm going through, is trying to get rid of the idea of romantic love. And I think maybe the first 4 songs were all about like, I need a soldier. I want to cater to my man. I miss my man. I'm rolling around in his t-shirt. But now it's like through the love of God, I found my own love and I'm free and I have my own self of self-love in the last 4 songs. So it's just interesting how there's something about albums where when you listen to it in the beginning or right away, you get one message. And then you come back 10, 15 years later, you listen to it again, you get a completely different message. That's what I call like, that's what I love about albums and artists like that, where it's not just a one message album, it's layered. And when you're at different points in your life, maybe this album will speak to you in a different way. So I completely respect the album even more because as a kid, obviously I wasn't thinking about self-love and like getting over, romantic love and, what it's like being screwed over by a man and you have to like rely on yourself. Now as an adult, I kind of understand that, girls. I would also say that I would really, 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 really love to say that this album is a non-skip album. However, Bad Habit is a trash song. I'm sorry. And I'm also double sorry because Kelly is majority singing the song. And it kind of answered a question that I had in a previous video. Like, when you have girl groups or boy bands, there's always a lead singer and I always wonder why. Like, why was it Beyonce? Why was it Michael Jackson? Why was it Justin Timberlake? But when Kelly took lead on Bad Habit and then kind of was the lead singer on Bad Habit, yeah, it kind of answered my question. That's no shade, no tea to Kelly because listen, Kelly's part of one of the biggest selling girl groups of all time, and I'm making YouTube videos that get barely any views. So clearly she's doing something better than me. But I still have an opinion, and I'm still going to stand by it and say it. Bad Habit just wasn't the song for me. And I wonder if I would have liked the song if Beyonce stepped forward a little bit more. And I don't think it's the Beyonce part of it. I think it's just maybe I just don't like the way Kelly was singing in her voice. So no shade, no tea to Kelly, but like I said, she is a Grammy Award winner. I'm using TurboTax to pay my taxes. You know what I mean? So we are definitely not in the same ballpark. We're probably not even in the same state. So yeah. One thing I also loved, I loved about this album, and I said it in the previous like voiceover, is how it really felt like, it does feel like a great end to a good chapter. I don't know why, but I can't put my finger on it, but it does feel like Destiny Fulfilled is the bigger sister to Destiny Child self-titled. And if you don't know Destiny's Child self-titled, it's their very first album when they were 19. So then to have kind of an album that kind of reminisces that or tips your hat to that and has Destiny Fulfilled, to me it's like the bigger sister. It's like they took all the lessons and all the learning that they have throughout their years and put it into Destiny Fulfilled. The reason also why is because it feels, those last four songs, like If, Free, Through With Love, Love, give me neo soul vibes, gives me that gospel, gives me that jazz and that blues. If kind of feels like a song that was made during like an Aretha Franklin time period. Something about those chords and those harmonies and the way they open up the song just gives me like a vintage Aretha Franklin, and not specifically Aretha Franklin, but like that Aretha Franklin era and vibe and je ne sais quoi. Like that's the kind of vibe that I get. So this album kind of just touches on like a very neo soul kind of like a little jab, a little sprinkle into a gumbo of the Destiny Fulfilled album, which, if you like Destiny self-titled was a neo soul project. So I don't know. I just think that Destiny Fulfilled is the bigger sister to Destiny's Child. And when Beyonce said that they broke up so they can find their own voices and to grow as women and to grow as artists, I definitely hear that growth. I see that maturity, but in the right way. And I see that neo soul. I see those stories that made sense for who those girls were at that time versus Destiny's Child self-titled. Those songs just felt like they were not the right pick for those young type of girls. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed like how, if you're a Destiny's Child fan, Destiny Fulfilled really truly feels like the Destiny is fulfilled, and it does feel like a 360 to where they started it off. We're in a time where people are giving 2-minute songs and that's it. Soldier was like a 5-minute song. Not only did it have a verse for Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce, it also had a verse from T.I. and Lil Wayne. And yes, it was 5 minutes, but it didn't feel like 5 minutes. Even at that time when listening to it as a kid, it didn't feel like 5 minutes because in that era, we were used to long songs. But I wish we can get artists to go back to making longer songs. Like, I love Doechie's mixtape, I really do. I don't know if it was called Alligator Bites or something like that, but if she's going to make an album, which I know she will, I hope that she does long formatted songs. I rather an artist give me a 10 to 12 list, a 10 to 12 track album, but each song being at least 3, 4 minutes long. The problem with that to me is that if you're going to have 2 minute songs, I can't distinguish. It just doesn't give me enough time for me to solidify that this is a song. And when you don't have like interludes, or you don't have like voiceovers, or you don't have your grandmother calling you on your voicemail and you're putting that voicemail in it and she's telling you to like get some confidence, or you don't have your mom leaving you a voicemail telling you to stop smoking that weed because it makes you lazy, stupid. And what does she say? Lazy, stupid.
When people become weed heads, they become sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. Sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. This is Mom. Call me. Bye.
What I was going to say is like, it makes me feel like that each song just bleeds into one in another. And I can't distinguish what song is what. It doesn't give me a story. When the songs are short and they just go right into the next one, right into the next one, right into the next one, my brain can't like take a moment to digest the song, hear the story, separate it from the rest of the songs, and just like see it as like a collection. To me, it just sounds like one long run-on sentence. So when I say that because when I listen to these albums, and Beyonce is notorious for always keeping long songs, I wish that the new artist of today goes back and makes longer form songs. I think they're underestimating. Who am I? Like I said, I'm just nobody making YouTube videos that are not going anywhere. So maybe there's a science to short songs. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'm aging out of this era, and maybe for the little Ice Spices out there, the little munchkins, they fucking love these 2 minute songs. But I just wish we went back to longer songs. We went back to albums where songs felt like they had different personalities. They felt like they had different personalities that belong in the collection. So that's one thing that I love about this album, is that they gave you long songs. Each song was different, but it fit the story. Each song, you can tell, has its own personality, but once again, it fits the story. And I just wish that music artists do that and go back to that style of making long songs, putting interludes in there, putting voice messages in there, and just being a little bit more creative with their album. All right, let's I always do these, my questions. What if I had an opportunity to interview Beyonce and the topic was destiny fulfilled, what would be the question I would ask Beyonce? And I only have one. I want to know oh God, Jesus Christ, sorry. Oh, bitch, I told you I'm sick and I have allergies. Fuck me. Okay. Oh. Okay. See, that's Beyonce. Beyonce was like, bitch, you better get your question right. Don't play with me, ho. Don't play with me. Okay, if I had to ask Beyonce a question, it would be, you have this strong bond with Kelly and Michelle. Why? Like, I know that Kelly has been your friend for 9 years, and I know you guys have been gone through so much shit, but what does that friendship mean to you? If you lost it today, how devastating would that be? What would be the impact to your life if you lost, God forbid, you lost Kelly or Michelle? When I was doing my research on this album, all of the interviews, The View, The Oprah, The Late Nights, everyone was obsessed with, why would you come back? Beyonce, you had a great solo career. Why are you coming back? And the answer was always, is because I miss these girls. I made a promise to these girls, and the album is more for us than it is to fans. And to me, that means that there is a relationship there that goes beyond music, that goes beyond business. And I want to get to the core of that. And I want to know, what is that relationship? Like, why is it so strong? Why are they so important to you? Because you didn't have to invite them on the Super Bowl performance when you did the Super Bowl. And you didn't have to invite them in the both Coachella performances, but you did. And you continue. And then also during the Renaissance tour, you brought back the original girls. And, apparently the grapevine was like you guys, said your apologies and mended fences. So it's just like, I want to know, like, the relationship between you and Kelly and Michelle is clearly important and is clearly a big part of your life. And I just want to know, like, how much do these girls mean to you? And through your years of being in the music industry and seeing shady shit and seeing all these negative people. And in another interview, you talked about how you want to surround yourself with positive people and people who care about the music and the art. And I'm assuming the reason why you keep Kelly and Michelle is because they are one of those positive people. So I just want to see if I can get her to answer the question in a way where it shows us why these girls mean so much to her, and if she can provide any examples or just give us some insight of that friendship and why is it so strong and how come you guys stuck together for this long. And is it just because you're the three Powerpuff Girls, the three Musketeers? It is what it is, but I think there's something more there, and I want to see if I can get that out of her. Tell us why these girls mean so much to you. Why does this friendship mean so much to me? Did they pick you up from a dark moment? What was that dark moment? Did you pick up Kelly or Michelle from a dark moment? What was that dark moment? When you were on your own, did you miss them? What did you miss about that friendship? When you got back in the studio, you made Destiny Fulfilled. How did that feel being with your girls? So yeah, that's those are the questions I would ask. All right, so that's my video. That's my story. Those are my thoughts. Those are my questions. We're going to wrap the video up and close it out. But as always, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Give it a follow. If you don't like it, that's okay, because I'm making these videos for myself and not for you. And as always, peace in the Middle East. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Destiny's Child Fulfilled went 3 times platinum. With the help of Lose My Breath and Soldier, the Three Musketeers landed their 10th top 10 pop hit. The Texas natives, once named Girls' Time, has solidified them as one of the highest selling girl groups of all time. Not bad for a little hair salon dream, if I do say so myself. Destiny's Child gave one last televised performance for the Fashion Rock benefit before they were inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It will be some time before we see the Charlie's Angels grace our screen. However, Destiny's Child did do a surprise visit during the 2013 Super Bowl, joining Beyonce on stage, and another surprise visit during Beyonce Coachella's performance. So honestly, who's to fucking say if these girls are actually done? Now Beyonce has captured one Infinity Stone, the girl group. It's time to resume her journey to find another Infinity Stone, the solo pop career.